Welcome to Bird Dog Politics. I'm BDP. Went to college at Grand Valley for my bachelor's, and I wrote in the Lanthorn, 04, 05, 06, something like that. Maybe someday I'll go back and see how my columns have aged. Could do Bird Dog Week at GVSU. My mom was the newspaper reporter here, which I've told you in another story. But I forgot to mention the best part. And the best part was that on the editorial page, she got to write a column about anything she wanted. And it was about us, her family. And she called it More Than Words, after the Extreme song. More than words. How she loves us more than words. So she wrote a column about the funny things we did and how she met my dad and trips we went on, things that I don't remember. She has them all. She did a fantastic job. And every time we went to the grocery store, the little old ladies would say, "Oh, I just love your column. It's so lovely." And so when I went to Grand Valley, I did that too. And in one of my columns, I wrote, "My student teaching mentor teacher will never be forgotten. She has such an impact on me. This is the woman who said, you're going to hate me at first, and then you're going to love me." And I made a mistake, and she emailed me after she read it. She said, "Please remember, I think you've misremembered. I didn't say you'll hate me. I said you'll fear me. You'll think I'm a crazy person. I'm going to be all up in your business, checking you out, keeping track of you. You're going to fear me, thinking I'm nuts. And then after about 4 to 6 weeks, you'll love me." And so I never made that correction. I was 22 or 23, proud young boy, pretty ignorant. And I didn't know how to apologize, and I didn't want to apologize. I take that as part of my boy era. But every column after that, I think the paper came out on Tuesdays, she'd send another email. "Just forget. Don't forget. Just remember. I said you would fear me, not that you would hate me." And every week she would wait for my correction, retraction, whatever it may be. And it never came. But I'm no longer a boy. I'm a man now, 42. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I make mistakes. I try not to, but they happen. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But as a man, I apologize when I'm wrong. Yesterday I said that Donald Trump flew to Epstein Island 7 times. That is not correct. I misunderstood. I'm not in the private jet set. Company of elites. Swampy type. But apparently there's flight logs, and it tells the truth about who's on the plane. So Donald Trump was on Epstein Force One 7 different times. Only 3 of those 7 times did Epstein's private jet full of Epstein and Donald Trump and who knows what else. 3 times Donald Trump flew to Epstein Island. The other 4 times he was on Epstein's jet were not to Epstein Island, but I may have mentioned that in New York City, Trump and Epstein are close neighbors. In Florida, Trump and Epstein are close neighbors. I used to have a coworker who would carpool with me from red to purple. I live in red, I teach in purple. I had a partner, we'd carpool every day, 180 times back and forth and back and forth. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein just hopped in the same plane and took flights together. They were both going to their place in Florida, or they were both going to their place in New York. I didn't check the exact flight logs. You absolutely can, though. Thank God for documentation. We have to keep our documents sacred. Flight logs, all for it. Let's check this out. Who was there? Then when we're done checking, put it in a filing cabinet somewhere. It doesn't have to come out until another investigative reporter wants to do a great job. But I misspoke yesterday. I am sorry. I can do better. Fox News, what about you? All right, correction. In today's news, according to HCR, Trump tried to fire half of the Department of Ed, almost 1,400 people, and some states sued to say, no, Congress creates agencies, departments, things of that nature. The president can sign to approve. The president doesn't hire, fire, collapse, expand. We have separation of powers. Until we don't have separation of powers, and then King Trump is in charge of everything. Or Stephen Miller. You seen that guy? Yikes. White supreme. You want us all to look like you, bud? No thanks. Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, if the executive is going to act in a lawless manner and try to shirk the separation of powers and try to install himself as dictator king, it is the judiciary's duty to check that lawlessness, not expedite it. John Roberts seems to have forgotten the separation of powers. So, Department of Ed, half the people gone. Linda McMahon, she who married billionaire Vince McMahon. Did you ever watch the Mr. McMahon documentary? Really clear indication. How do you become a billionaire? Backstabbing, throat slitting, traitorous behavior, no loyalty whatsoever. Shake a man's hand and then violate it, go behind his back. I don't know how you become a billionaire in an ethical fashion. Seems pretty impossible to me. Pardon my language. The Senate is reviewing whether they're going to withhold $9 billion for PBS, for NPR. Congress had already appropriated these funds and they should be spent, but there's something called rescissions. Am I saying that right? Nerds? Gotta be accurate, man. Can't be lying about Dominion voting machines and getting sued for $787 million because your network is lying repeatedly, completely dishonest. $9.4 billion in cuts to PBS, NPR. Susan Collins said, maybe we should see what's really being cut. You think? Maybe we should not hand over all power to this 78-year-old who can't remember, got CRS, has nothing to say about that guy whose plane he was on 7 times, wants us to not talk about that guy whose plane he was on 7 times, because it's disgusting what that man did. I want to see the client list. My buddies on the right want to see the client list. All of a sudden, Pam Bondi says, doesn't exist. It's not there. We barely have the flight logs. You think we have a client list? You should. You're supposed to. Oh. And the one that royally pisses me off as a Christian, as a good man. 500 metric tons of food that was grown in America, processed in America, turned into high energy, calorie dense, nutrient dense biscuits to feed 1.5 million kids for a week in Pakistan and in, what was the other one, Afghanistan? I'm sorry, my memory is failing. 1.5 million kids can eat for a week. 500 metric tons of American grown, American processed food has now expired. It is past its use by date. And for the low price of $130,000 to the American taxpayer, we are going to burn that food because USAID was defunded. The Christians will not be handing that food out to starving children. It will be burned at a cost of $130,000 to the taxpayer, when we've already defunded the government to give tax cuts to the rich. I will pray for the souls of every member of the Trump administration who had a hand in this. It is absolutely disgusting, and no Christian would ever allow it. That's the news of the day on the national political scene. News of the day on the local scene. Well, yesterday I mowed my lawn. Looks pretty good. This morning I opened my credit card bill. And funny how a credit card with $7,000 limit can now have $10,000 worth of charges. Walmart, gas station, no Lambeau Leap tickets, no Summer of Loud tickets. Do I or do I not dip into my Roth IRA? Get rid of the credit card. On the good side, I found out I only have $1,400 left on my truck payment. So my wife says, pay the truck off this month. Don't do credit cards. Don't do, just truck, done. Own it forever. Drive it till the wheels fall off. That's the plan. But I also have vehicle insurance due, which in Michigan is outrageous. I think one of my biggest issues is with private insurance. You collect this pool of money, and its intended purpose is to be saved for an emergency. But no, it's put into a profit sheet so that Wall Street and the stock market can enjoy it. And the best way to make Wall Street enjoy it is to deny as many claims as possible and just keep that pile of cash. We need an absolute, complete 100% separation between insurance and the stock market. That's gotta happen. Particularly with our health. If I get cancer, if I get diabetes, if I break a bone, who says there's money to be made? That's terrible. That's disgusting. I don't like that at all. And my chiropractor doesn't like private insurance. He's sick of it just like I am. We could do what every other country does, couldn't we? If we had competent leadership. Cut the shit with funding ICE at a higher level than we fund the Marines. ICE has more money than the Marines now? Jeez. All right, my wife tells me that it's not as good when I talk at you. I need to talk with you. So, how do you feel about my maxed out credit card? It stresses me out. But I've got 105 followers on Reddit. And 2 of my videos got reposted on Blue Sky yesterday to feeds, skeets, with 10,000 followers and 2,000 followers, respectfully. So, my biggest video right now is at 22 views. I think that's the 7 Flights to Epstein Island video. And on Blue Sky, I also offered for sale my show notes. Is the maximum tax-free donation you can make still $14,000? I just need like 5 of the patriotic millionaires to mail me a check for $14,000. And I will keep doing this. I'm going to do this for free. I love America. I want America to be a voting democracy where the most people have a say in this government. I believe the truth is on my side. I'll keep doing this for free, but hey, if you want to hook me up, help me pay off that credit card, my beautiful wife's student loans, the mortgage on this very, very cool house that's going to keep my baby girl, my son, my dogs, 2 ducks, 4 chickens, safe, happy, healthy. Could use you. There's been a $50 trillion transfer of wealth from the bottom up, and I find myself on the bottom. Bird Dog Politics. Like, share, subscribe. Check out another video, would you please? Share the football one with the guys in your life. My son is at sleepaway camp all week. So Monday I did 3 videos. Today I'm going to try to do 3 videos. Yesterday we had our first non-stress test. Baby girl looks healthy, good, ready. I'm going to put out as much content as I can to try to build a coalition with Christians, football fans, music fans, Zennials, teachers. Anyone who says, oh yeah, I've heard of Bird Dog, they'll be in the club. Help support the club. Let's save this great country. Peace.